Imagine a quiet village street. It's the middle of the day, the air is heavy with the afternoon sun, just a completely ordinary scene.
Until it's not. Suddenly there's this tearing sound. The screech of a tuk-tuk's brakes
Oh.
locking up.
And everyone's head turns. But what they see isn't a minor accident. A white sheet, just wrapped around something, tumbles from the back of the vehicle.
It lands hard on the asphalt. And it's not luggage. It's a person. A young woman, Karima.
The sheet comes undone, and all anyone can see is this blood-soaked nightgown. It's just a moment of absolute horror.
Right. The driver, the neighbors, they're frozen. Then two figures just scramble out of the tuk-tuk, a man, Ayman and his mother.
And they're panicked. They're trying to drag Karima's body. She's unconscious, obviously severely injured, back toward their house.
They manage to get her inside and just slam the door shut. And when the neighbors, rush over to see what's happened.
The mother-in-law comes out, and her response is just, it's chilling. She says, it's just a fight between a man and his wife. No one interferes.
And that moment, that horrifying public collapse and that immediate cold-blooded cover-up, that's the end of a 4-month story of escalating abuse.
So in this deep dive, our mission is to trace how this happened. The control, the isolation, the social pressure that trapped her from the moment she was married.
We need to dissect the strategy here. So to really understand that moment on the street, we have to go back 5 years, back to who Karima was and the marriage she thought she was getting.
Okay, let's unpack this.
5 years earlier, Karima is just 15. She's living in a different village, and her family is, they're struggling financially. Her father's a carpenter. A good man, but always in debt.
And Karima, even as a teenager, she's pulling her weight. She worked for 5 years in a vegetable packing factory.
Right, and that salary was crucial. It helped with bills, it gave her a little independence. She was a key support for her family.
That independence is so important. And then Ayman enters the picture. His real name was Gamal, but he went by Ayman.
Yeah, he sees her when she's visiting a relative in his village. He's immediately interested, and he asks for an introduction.
And he presents this perfect picture, right?
A perfect picture. He tells her family he owns his home, he works as a heavy truck driver's assistant to Badajoz, and this was the key. He swore he was clean. No smoking, no drugs.
Which for her family, that was everything, the promise of sobriety.
Exactly. And his mother is there looking all sympathetic. She'd recently lost another son, so she sort of played on that.
But the red flags started immediately, with the engagement itself.
Immediately. He demands a short engagement, and he insists she quit her factory job. His reason was, we don't have women who work.
Wow. And she complies.
She complies.
Right.
I mean, you have to remember, her father is going deep into debt at this exact moment, buying furniture, appliances, all on installment plans for this wedding.
So by quitting her job, she's actually increasing the financial pressure on her own family right before she gets married.
She's removing her only source of leverage, her only independence. And then came the next move.
The engagement gold.
Yep. The small amount of gold he himself had bought for her. He asks for it back. Says he needs the money to get a grade 1 professional driving license.
And he promises to replace it, of course.
Of course. With something much better after the wedding. So she hands it over. At this point, she has no job, no savings, no gold. The entire foundation is built on his promises.
So fast forward to the wedding day. And the photos from that day, they tell a story.
They really do. In her solo pictures, Karima is just beaming, pure hope. But there's this one picture with her mother-in-law.
And the tension is obvious.
It's written all over their faces. It's like they both know something terrible is coming.
And it arrives on the wedding night?
Immediately. The confinement starts that night. The mother-in-law doesn't just stay for dinner. She stays in the apartment until 5 a.m. the next morning.
Wait, until 5 in the morning on their wedding night?
Yes.
Yes.
It's not about being rude. It's a power play. It sends a very clear message to Karima. You are not in charge here. I am.
She's not a wife. She's the new subordinate in the house.
Exactly. And that control turns physical almost instantly. After just 1 week of marriage, Karima suffers severe bleeding from Ayman's violent relations.
And she's seriously injured. What happens?
She's silent at first, but finally she tells them. And the mother-in-law just steps in. No doctor, no help. She tells Karima to be tougher and dismisses it as just a little bleeding.
So Karima calls her family.
She calls her mother. Her parents rush over, they see what's happening, and they take her home. They immediately start talking about divorce.
But she doesn't do it. Why?
This is the trap. She's thinking about the debt her father took on, all that furniture, and she's terrified of the shame of what people will say if she gets divorced after just 1 week.
And you have to understand that phrase, what people will say, it's not just embarrassment. It's about her family's reputation, their honor in the community. It's a crushing weight.
A weight that Ayman and his mother knew exactly how to use. They sent community mediators to pressure her family. And in the end, Karima agrees to go back.
But under a new set of rules.
A terrifying new contract. Rule 1. She's confined to the house, never to leave. Rule 2. All calls must be on Ayman's phone, on speaker, so they can listen.
And the third rule.
She must never deny him intercourse, even if she's sick. Even if she's, and the source says this, dying. Her body is no longer her own.
A couple of months into this, she discovers she's pregnant.
Yeah, she's just entering her 3rd month. You can just imagine the little flicker of hope that must have given her. And her family, maybe. Maybe the baby will change things.
But it doesn't.
It makes it worse. Her doctor tells her she needs complete rest, no physical intimacy. The pregnancy is fragile.
And the mother-in-law's reaction?
Complete disregard. She forces Karima to do heavy chores, cleaning rugs, washing the stairs. The control was more important than Karima's life, or the baby's.
And the beatings were getting worse.
Constant. So loud the neighbors could hear her screaming. And this is when she confides in her young aunt. And she reveals Ayman's most specific threat.
He told her he would throw her from the balcony.
And claims she committed suicide.
That's not a threat made in anger. That's premeditated. He's planning the cover-up.
He's planning the cover-up.
Yeah.
And she also confirms the truth about him. The clean man he pretended to be. A complete lie. He was an addict.
So when Ayman finds out she talked to her aunt, that's it.
That's the last link to the outside world. Severed. He cuts off all communication. Total isolation.
And she makes one last visit to her parents. They see the bruises. Her father begs her to leave him.
He insists. You have to divorce him now. But Karima, she's still holding on to that tiny, fatal hope that the baby will fix everything. She says she has to endure it for her home, and she goes back.
For the last time. Which brings us back to that day, noon. Ayman comes home early.
A huge fight erupts. The neighbors hear the screaming again, just like they always do. The mother-in-law hears it. And again, no one does anything.
And then it just stops. The screaming stops.
Karima has collapsed. Unconscious.
This is when the panic sets in for them.
Right. Ayman and his mother, they wrap her in that sheet. They need to get her out of the house, dispose of the problem. Which leads them to the tuk-tuk and that horrible public discovery on the street.
After they drag her back inside, they lock the door. And the final stage of the cover-up begins.
They take her to the bathroom, they clean all the blood, they change her clothes. The plan is to make it look like an accident.
And the mother-in-law goes to a local doctor and tries to get a burial permit.
She pressures him. But this doctor, this is the one person who breaks the chain of complicity.
He refuses.
He sees the bruises, the wounds. He knows this wasn't a fall. He realizes there's foul play, and he alerts the security forces.
It's not until 7 p.m. that Karima's mother gets a call.
From a neighbor with the prepared lie. Karima fell down the stairs.
They rush over, but all the phones are off. When they get there, the police are everywhere, and they learn the truth. Their daughter died at noon.
And the forensic report confirms everything. It directly contradicts the mother-in-law's story. It states Karima was subjected to a brutal beating that caused acute circulatory failure.
The cause of death was the assault. Period.
And it confirmed the pregnancy, early 3rd month.
The cover-up was finished. Ayman fled. His parents disappeared.
It's telling, though, that later the MIL gave these media interviews trying to get neighbors to lie for her. She even tried to paint her son as generous, saying he gave Karima 200 Egyptian pounds a week.
Which was nothing. An insult.
Barely enough for transportation. It was just a last, pathetic attempt to control the narrative. Justice was only set in motion because of that one doctor.
When you look at the whole pattern, it's just a devastating blueprint of how you trap someone. Isolation, debt, violence, and this crushing fear of shame.
And it makes you wonder, if his plan from the start was to control and isolate her this completely, what did he even want? It wasn't a wife, it was a captive. And the fear of what people will say was the strongest lock on her cell.
She was trapped between her duty to endure for her home and the reality that her home was killing her.
Which leaves a really difficult question for you listening at home. In any relationship, when does that commitment cross the line into silence about your own safety? And what happens when the fear of what people will say becomes more lethal than the physical danger itself? That is the price of silence.